This is the area that we're talking about. There'll be some people in the room who are very familiar with all of this stuff that I'm talking about and some people who've never heard any of this stuff before. So I will break it down. There's a lot of different types of fortune tellers and this kind of stuff. The type that I would normally see are tarot readers, okay? There's the ones with the cards. How's this? This is how fine the line is. I call bullshit if someone was reading tea leaves. I'm like, I am not taking life advice from beverage debris. I've been... I've been to university. I'm going to speak to angels, okay? Thank you. It makes no sense. Anyway, so I usually see the tarot reader with the cards, and if you don't know, tarot readers are normally set up out the back of a crystal-y shop, and you go into a crystal-y shop and you go, hello, do you have a stranger out the back who can give me some life advice? And they go, we sure do. Do you want to see any credentials? And I go, nah, there's a chalkboard out the front, that's enough for me. And they go, it's going to cost you about $80 for half an hour of stranger's life advice. And you go, well, that sounds reasonable. And then you go into sorry, what's this? This is my final year 12 exam score. Yeah. Just in case what I'm saying is too stupid for you to handle during this bit, you can just look at that and just distract yourself and marvel at the fact that both of these things came out of the same brain. So when you sit in front of a stranger who you've paid to tell you your future, often they'll give you a deck of cards to shuffle whilst you're thinking of a question, and they'll ask angels or spirits or something, and then they'll listen for an answer and they'll go, thanks very much. What I'm getting is, look, it's difficult for me to tell you exactly what the psychics have said to me in the past because I don't remember. I don't. By the time the thing they've said is supposed to happen, I've forgotten about it, okay? It was always about feeling better the day I'd go to see them, so I'd go to see them on a day when I was feeling a bit down, a bit lost, had a big decision to make, didn't know what was going on, and they generally tell you vague, positive things about the future, okay? And look, it feels nice to have someone say everything's going to be okay, right? That's the service. And I can't do that service for myself because I don't believe me. You know, I can't go, Celia, everything's going to be okay, because I know that I don't know. But I don't know that they don't know. They might know. It's actually quite rational. Anyway. And I know there are scammers out there, and some of them were terrible. In fact, this show's called Let Me Know How It All Works Out, because once I saw a woman who was terrible, she just sort of interviewed me, and when I left, she went, good luck with it, let me know how it all works out. And I went, did you just ask me to tell you my future? So I get it. But generally, no matter what they've said, if I've disagreed with it or whatever, I'd always left with a bit of perspective and feeling better. And then, one year, I was in the UK doing gigs at a music and arts festival in this big field somewhere. And while I was there, a palm reader, yeah, sometimes I'll switch it up. If I'm in a pinch, I'll go with who's available, right? A palm reader told me something incredible. You're going to need more information. Coming at you. A palm reader called Tony, wearing a vest with stars and moons on it, in a self-decorated tent next to a poster that said, as seen on many television and radio. Told me there was something very wrong with me. Yes, Celia, you went to a palm reader. No, as well as that. Now, Tony was about 60 years old. He had a very kind face. He reminded me of like a friend's dad. He was a really friendly, lovely man. So I was not expecting this at all. And he kind of snuck it in amongst other things. See if you can spot it, okay? So I was in the tent with Tony. He looks at my palm and he goes, okay, well, you're a very good communicator. You can't have kids. You need to have your wisdom teeth taken out. And I said, what? And he said, you need to have your wisdom teeth taken out. And I said, sorry, can we go back one? And he said, you can't have kids. And I went, yeah, what? And he took both of my hands in his like this, and he said, I am so sorry. It is never easy to tell someone that. And I said, it seemed pretty easy. Tony, if I'm honest. And I said, do you mean I won't have kids or I can't have kids? And he goes, you can't. I'm so sorry, you cannot have kids. And then he told me some other stuff, gave me his email address, and I left. So, yeah, I can't have kids. I know. Walking around thinking you're fertile as shit. No. Shocking. I mean, either that or Tony was trying to trick me into having unprotected sex with him. That's a new one. I have not heard that one before. Nah, babe, we don't need to wear a condom. You've got a diagonal line on your index finger. We can totally go bareback. Don't worry about it. Trust me, I'm a palm reader. Super sweet. Bareback means no condom, by the way. I have to, because it's misleading. I like to be educational. It's misleading. Bareback sounds like a bareback. It means no condom. Got to be careful. Got to be careful, because you could get pregnant. I mean, I couldn't, but you might. Look out. This is a side note, and it doesn't mean anything, but I just love this. A friend of mine honestly thought bareback was man and woman naked. Woman rides man around living room. Why a living room? Who knows? But I have to tell you, what Tony said to me was very unusual. They very rarely delve into the area of specific medical advice. It was quite shocking. It was as shocking as if a doctor went, oh, I've got your blood test back. Looks like you're going to meet your soulmate in 6 months. You know? Like it going, now pee in this cup and we'll see if you're getting that promotion. Like it was a weird thing to say. And all I thought at the time, all I knew for sure is like, right, all I know is that if I do have a child, I will, boy or girl, name them Tony. And that kid will put up with so much sarcasm from me its whole life. Just even when it's an adorable little child coming downstairs in the morning, I'll be like, good morning, Tony. No, I haven't made you breakfast. I didn't know you'd be here. Oh, late for kinder, are you? Well, you should have thought about that before you defied fate, you impossible child. I joke about it now, but at the time, it was quite upsetting. Not because I believed him or I've ever had a thing about having kids. It was just intense. Having someone that sincerely tell you something that fucked. Do you know what I mean? Like it felt like what it would have felt like if it was real. If someone had gone, oh, hey, you know this potential future you thought you might like to have as an option for yourself one day. No, not for you. You missed out. You don't get to do that. Like if you went, oh, there's a country I might like to go to one day. No, you can't. Why? It got hit by a bus. That whole country... You missed out, right? And I was having a shit time anyway because I hate camping. It was cold and wet, hadn't showered for 3 days on the other side of the world. So I came out of Tony's tent and I found a bit of grass in this field and I sat down by myself and I had a little bit of a cry. Okay, wasn't bothering anyone, just had a little bit of a cry by myself. And then I heard a voice go, excuse me. And I looked up and there was like a young, trendy-looking festival-y dude. And he goes, you've got some mail. Right. And he handed me a brown paper envelope and written on the front of the envelope, it said, to a sad-looking stranger. And I opened it, and inside was a handmade postcard with pictures of flowers and birds and animals and stuff stuck on it. And it said, remember, you are brilliant. Yeah. And I just thought, you know what? I've never hated a hipster more. Fuck you. You patronising, bearded, button-up fuckface. Go fuck yourself. What has happened? What has happened to the world where you can't just sit in a field and have a cry without some douchebag forcing decoupage on you? Fuck off, mate. What are you thinking? You're going to craft me some self-esteem? What about a baby? Why don't you knit me a baby?